What up? My name's Steven, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to build a bag in Clo 3D. There are some basic parameters you need to set up first, which are fabrics. You can go over to my website and pick up what I'm calling like the 3D starter kit, bag maker starter kit. That'll get you bag material, fabric, some hardware, and some trim. So check that out. Just follow the link. In this video, basically I show you how to make the Cycle Psycho hip pack. So there's the front panel, the back panel, the gusset, the waist belt, and how that goes, like how you can attach that to a person. If you go down into the description, I've broken it down into chapters. So you can quickly, like if you watch the whole video or you just need to figure out a couple of things, go down there because I spent so many hours just chaptering it out so that you can easily find that. Also, give me any feedback on the video. Leave a comment below with any questions, other videos that you want me to make. I'd be happy to do so. I'm going to jump right into it. When you open up Clo 3D, this is the 3D side of the panel, and then you have the 2D side of the panel over here. And today I'm going to go over kind of the Cycle Psycho hip pack. It's not going to be exact, but I'm going to use it as a reference. So the first thing we're going to do is go to this rectangle tool up here. Hotkey is S. I'm just going to click on the screen and we're going to make this 225 millimeters by 150 millimeters. And here we've got our pattern piece, and I'm just going to draw it to the center here. So you have your X and your Y. The X is kind of your baseline. So wherever you draw this in space is essentially where it's going to kind of show up here. I'm going to right click on here and move to ground center. It's just going to put us dead center. So when I shimmy around here, it'll be right there in the middle. And I'm going to add 25 millimeter curve around all the corners. So I'm going to select the smooth curve. I'm going to right click. You can see as I type, it'll show you how far you're going. So you can play around with that. It's a little different than Adobe Illustrator corners. You have a little bit more control, which is really nice. I haven't figured out a way to just do all of these at the same time, so you have to individually do them, which is kind of a pain in the butt, but it is what it is. And this here is a basic fabric. One thing I'm going to show you real quick is this tool over here. So right now we have like the fabric thickened, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to thin it out. So I'm going to select this blue that shows the white underside, and what that did is it changed the back to be kind of dark. So we know which is the front and which is the back while we're building, which when you're getting the core structure of a bag down, it's really, really handy to do. And I have some pre-fabbed fabrics over here. I'm going to have these on my website to download so you can go check it out. Check out the link in the bio. This is just a Eco Pack by Challenge Sailcloth. So I'm just going to, I clicked and I drug it over there. So now I have this bag buff yellow Eco Pack, which is pretty sick. Yeah. Okay. And you can see that the backside's still darker. When you get into using darker fabrics, so if you click on the fabric over here, you can come and you can change the color. When you get into, like, let's just make it solid black, you can't tell anymore what's the front and what's the back. So also when building, I like to use lighter fabrics just to get the core structure down. And later I'll show you kind of the colorways, which is really fun to play around with. So here we've got our front panel, and on the face, we're going to add a zipper. But before we add the zipper, there's a tool, basically a bag or a garment. Left side and right side are going to be the same throughout the bag. So if I hit G, or I get this internal polygon line. I'm just going to click dead center, and you can see, well, it disappears when I move, but you can see the distance. So I know that this is dead center because it's 87.5 and 87.5. That's going to draw what's called an internal line. This will show up as red, and this is really helpful when you're getting into sewing and some detail work. So I'm just going to select this line, right click, and I'm going to select cut. So it just splits that piece in half. So now I have two separate panels, and I'm going to delete the right side. Now there's this, if you right click, you have this symmetric pattern with sewing. So I'm just going to do that. If you hold shift, you've got it locks it to the 45. So I'm going to lock it to the 40 or to the 0. And now you'll see I have two identical pieces, but they're opposite each other. And this is very helpful. You'll kind of see, like, when I move this piece, it moves the other side. So I don't have to worry about the symmetry anymore. If I make one minor adjustment on this side of the pattern, it'll adjust it on the other. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sew these together. So there's a couple of sewing tools. You have the segment sewing, which is between the dots. You just hover and it selects between the dots. And then you have free sewing. And this you can click anywhere to anywhere. So you can go between the dots. So I could sew that to that and just make shit go crazy. But I'm going to undo that. And because I'm just sewing the segment, like this segment to that segment, I'm going to use segment sew. So now when I simulate it, boom, it goes straight across. So Command Z undid that. And in this 3D window, you really want things to kind of be pretty close together. So as you're building your 2D pattern, you're going to want to just manage your pieces over here before you simulate it. And once you get a core structure of the bag down, is a good time to simulate it. Otherwise, the pieces are just going to kind of fly around, and you don't want that. So this is the front panel. I'm gonna make a lining piece that goes behind, and then the front face will have a zipper just straight across. So I'm gonna right click on here, and I'm going to say layer clone under, and I'm just gonna bring this, and this is gonna be my lining piece. So I have this 210D fabric. So I'm just gonna double click. It gets added. I don't want to see that again. I'm gonna select this lining piece, and I'm gonna, if you guys saw that, I select the lining piece, and you click this like down arrow box thing, and now I have my lining fabric. And really what that does when you layer clone something under, like if I layer cloned over and then I select this fabric, it's going to put it in front. And additionally, it's going to sew everything together. And I'll show you that just a sec. So if I select B, which is this tool here, I can select my stitches, gives me information about my stitches. You'll see that this whole panel is sewn to this whole panel. And over here in the property editor, the sewing line type is turned. And if I select this stitch, it's a custom angle. The fold strength is at 5, so it's not very strong. It's at 180 degrees, which means it's just straight across. Turned basically means they lie flat against each other. Now I can select this sewing angle, and I can make it 90 degrees. And if I simulate, you guys will see it'll put this 90-degree crease. And if I take that and I say strength is 100, it'll really crease it. So this is a really powerful part of Clo that I think is really important, especially for bag makers. I think on apparel it's less important. It is important, but on bags it's very important. So on these where I'm doing this symmetrical sewing, I'm just going to do 180 degrees, but I'm going to put it at a strength of 100. And that makes it really strong straight across. So I'm just going to back out here, see if I can get back to where we were. There we are, flat panels. And then I'm going to reset this to 100 and 180. Now with this, I've got it set underneath so it's a lining piece and it's actually going to be sewn to that front panel. So see how it's flat against it? It's not really what I want right now. And especially I don't want it in the middle. So I'm just going to delete that. And I'm going to get my free sewing tool and I'm just gonna go around the edges that I actually need sewn together. Now I'm going to take this piece and I want the other side of it. So I'm going to remove the linked editing. So I don't want it linked to this front piece anymore. It is now its own entity and I'm going to symmetric pattern with sewing. I'm just going to move it over there. Now the coolest thing is I haven't done anything, and I'm going to turn on this tool to show you, but it's already, this shows the stitches, like what's stitched to what. So if I move this over, you'll see that there's that center stitch. You see those pink lines. But this is rad because when you do symmetrical sewing, anything that gets sewn over here and you do symmetry, it does it to the symmetrical piece already. So those are going to be sewn together. Let me just bump it over. Kapow. But I will need to sew those together with my what do they call it? Segment sewing tool. So now I've got my front panel, but I need to add the zipper. So to do that, I've got these beautiful dots here right at the end of the sewing line. And the zipper, it's really the tape width is what you're gonna have to think about. Like whatever tape you're going to be sewing with. So let's say it's 38 millimeters, so it's an inch and a half, or 32 millimeters, which is like, I don't know, inch and a quarter. Come on guys. Just work in metric if you're doing bags. It's easier. But right here, I'm going to right click on this dot. And I'm going to add a perpendicular line. You can do local, or you can do y-axis. Basically it's going to go like off of the y-axis in the x-axis direction, but off of the y-axis, and it's going to extend all the way. So it's 112.5 and it's going to go all the way to the edge. Now one cool thing is, like, if you ever have a line, an internal line that doesn't go to the edge, you can right click on it and you can say extend trim to pattern outline, or to another internal line, whichever it's closest to. And then you can extend trim and add a point. So if I wanted a point right here to be manipulating, I could use that one. But I'm just going to extend trim to the edge. And then there's two things I could do to get the 18 millimeter offset for my zipper panel. Now remember, none of this is working with seam allowance. This is, you basically build and clo without seam allowance, which is amazing. It makes it really, the concept of seam allowance really easy. So there's two things. I can add another point to this line. So there's this tool here, add point split line. And I can just click anywhere and it adds points. Or I can right click and you can see I can type in 18 millimeters. It's going to offset it automatically 18 millimeters. You can split by length. So here I could type in 18 millimeters, it's going to do the same thing. But the cool thing with split by length is you can actually go to, like, I want on the reverse side, so it does 18 down there, or it does it in the center. Like, it gives you that 18 millimeter segment right in the center. So I'm not going to use that. And then you can do uniform split if you just needed to cut up a line into like a bajillion pieces because you're, what do they call it when you love pain? That. Anyways, I'm going to go back to the split into two lines, 18 millimeters. I'm going to add that. And then I can right click here, perpendicular line y-axis, do the thing. Or I can get rid of that if I don't want that dot there. I can just select this internal line and I can offset as an internal line, and I can select 18 millimeters. Where is it? I can't see. Oh, it's so faint against the yellow, but the red line's here, and you can reverse the direction and the red line will pop up here. So anyways, then that'll also give you your 18 millimeter split that you need. Yeah, so I'm going to select both of these and I'm going to right click and I'm going to hit cut and sew. So what the cut and sew does is it actually, like, if I select my sewing tool, it sews them together. So you cut them and sew them at the same time. So you don't have to worry about cutting it and then going into the sewing tool and sewing. So that's really cool. But you see, this is not a zipper. So I just have this basic material that I use for zippers. It's just black and savage. Anyways, I like to keep things lined up, but you'll see on the 3D window, like nothing moved. It just cuts and sews it. And one thing that people always get tripped up by is these like sharp edges, and they're like, oh dang, like when I export this to a pattern, is that gonna, have these weird notches? And the answer is no. It will. See this black line, this blue black line, it will export that. So that will be your pattern. But the way that 3D operates, it operates in what we call a mesh. And so this mesh, if I come over here, where's it? Here's the thing. What am I doing with my live? Oh yeah, the fabric one. You select this as a mesh and you can see the mesh breakdown. Kind of hard. But yeah, so you got these really kind of big triangles that make up this 3D component. So when you get smaller panels, like if you wanted that to just look cleaner, like check out what happens if I change, let's go to property editor down here in the bottom right. Particle distance, this is an important one. You switch that to 5, and now you have way more mesh points. And what that does is it smooths that shizzy out. So it, like, it's smooth. It's smoother. They recommend not going under 5 for your particle length if you want to like maintain your computer speed. Otherwise, it's just going to crash all the time. So I only do it on smaller panels. So I'll do it on that upper. You could probably leave that at 20, you could just, like, on a smaller piece like this, you could realistically just do everything in 10. So let's like select it all and do 10. But then on these small zipper panels, I always do like webbing or zipper panels. I'm always at 5 just because it gives you kind of that soft. Yeah. Anyways, that's what the mesh is. So even at 10, you have a little bit of this kind of clipping going on, but it's not bad. And once you get into like it's really easy to build if it's all in like 20. It takes less like GPU or whatever computer science stuff. But so if you build in like 20, and then once you get further down the line in a more complex, like trying to make it look really sexy, like that's when you can mess with your particle distances. But anyways, zippers, webbing, I always rock with a 5. So here I've got this front panel, zippers cut out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to add a graphic. No, I'm not going to show that right now. I'll show that later. So it's easy to like chapter this out. All right, so I've got my front panel. That's all done. And I'm going to just copy and paste this piece for my back panel. And see, I'm going like below the x-axis here. So it's going to drop my pattern piece down there. So they have hotkeys, like 1 gives you this 3/4, 2 gives you the front, 3 is the other 1/4, 2, I don't know. 4 gives you the 5 or the side. You can go through the numbers, but really, like, I just mess with like 1 if I'm trying to get a good angle, 2 if I want the front, 4 if I want the side. So when I'm placing pieces, I'll just like hit 4, move that shiz up, and then hit 2 or 8, I think, shows me the back, and that looks pretty good. So that looks pretty nice. 1's like a nice, like, let me get back to not being directly on any panel. So anyway, so now I've got this. I'm going to make it the Eco Pack because this is the exterior, but you can see like this is the back of the pack, but this is the wrong side of the fabric. I want that on the outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to right click, And watch my 2D window as I do this. I'm going to hit flip normal. It flips that pattern piece. Screw it. So now I've got that flip pattern piece. And then I'm going to right click and I'm going to do symmetric pattern with sewing. And I'm going to do something crazy on you guys. I'm going to actually pop it over here so I don't have to move it later in the 3D window, but it goes like this way, opposites. It's a mental game. And then I'll just move the 2D piece over because 2D is easier to move. And then there's no sewing there, so I'm gonna segment sew these bad boys together. Oh, look at that. Bags coming together already. I can hear your excitement. I'm just gonna drag these back a little, and then the next thing I want to do is build out the gusset. So if I select 1, hold shift, 2, 3, 4, 5, those. That's half my gusset, but you can see I got this yellow line, and then the opposite side is I got this blue line. And if I scroll up here in the property editor, 2D line length is 356.2, and that's just half of it. But it's a symmetric, like the total is 712.3. So those are kind of a nifty tool, but I'm just going to get my rectangle tool again. I'm going to do 356.2. And then we're going to make this 3 inches or 75 millimeters deep. All right, I'm going to line that up there. And I think I want the gusset in the middle as far as like border of looking pretty. All right, I'm gonna select this gusset. It's in the zipper. I'm gonna make it that eco pack. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sew it. So this is where I'm gonna grab my free sew, because this is one massive segment and this is like a bunch of little segments. You could do it with the segment sewing tool and like hold shift, but like why do that to yourself? And I'm gonna have this be the bottom. So I'm going to go to the bottom here, bring it up around to the top. I'm going to sew that together. And you can see over on the 3D window. Ooh, yeah, I forgot I had that on. I'm going to leave that on. It'll kind of show you guys what's that. On the 3D window, this one, remember, on the left side is the back right. And this one here, you can see that little tracer. Watch this. Look at my 2D window, like you can see the tracing mark. Sick. Okay, so this one is sewn over here, and this is the bottom of the bag. So I'm just gonna grab that one, but then you're gonna come over, so like over to here, you're gonna hold down shift, you're gonna trace it up, trace it up, trace it up, and see this black dot? Like if that didn't end perfectly there, it would show you exactly where it ends and it snaps to it, which is dope. I'm gonna let go of shift. Now I've just got this cluster of sewing lines. So it's a really nice tool to just kind of like generally understand, but sometimes it just really confuses me. But like if I saw that some lines went over here and some lines went over there, I'd be like, okay, I messed up the sewing. So I think I can actually probably just pull this over here and rotate it over there. Okay. I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to say superimpose to the side. And what that's going to do is give me this nonsense. Holy mackerel. And you can see that's the wrong side of the fabric. I want the other side. So I'm going to right click. I'm going to flip to normal. All right, we got the fabric on the right side. And then I'm going to right click on this. Symmetric pattern with sewing. Move it over. Boom. And I'm going to sew the bottom or the top together and the bottom together. And this just looks like a mess over in the 3D window, but I promise it's all going to work out. Another thing you can do if you don't want pieces just flying all over the place, you can just like select one of these and freeze it. It'll turn it blue, like ice. It's not going anywhere. And then I'll hit the space bar, the simulate button, and it's going to sew things together. Oh, you know what? Let me see if I have. Oh, I have, that's why. Okay, when you have an avatar in here, even though they're not visible, they will jack things up. So I'm just gonna go back, hit Command Z. I'm gonna show my avatar right here. You can like make them disappear. And then I'm gonna, oh, what did I do? I'm gonna right click and I'm gonna select deactivate avatar. So now my avatar turns sad purple. I'm gonna hide them and then I'm gonna redo that. Boom. Okay, cool. There we go. Now my avatar's feet are not fudging with my with my bag. So you see I froze that. So let's unfreeze that. It'll soften up. And this is the hardest, or not the hardest, it's the most annoying thing about bags is you have like this really rounded, ugly. Like that's not what the bag's gonna look like when you sew these together. So it's just complete junk. But 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 there's a tool for that. I select the sew line, and I'm actually just gonna select all of these. Okay, I select that one. I'm gonna zoom in here. Select, holding shift. Okay, now I have them all selected. I don't have to select the other side. It's symmetric sewing. It does it all. And I'm gonna switch this to 90 degrees and strength to 50. And then I'm gonna resimulate, and you'll see it straightens it out, makes it way prettier, and is a little bit more accurate. And right now I'm not like super worried about this. Sometimes what I'll actually do is, oh no, wrong button. Command Z, undo. What I'll actually do is I'll let me select these all again. Generally, when I'm doing it, I'll do like 135 or 110. For some reason, it just feels more natural to me. 90 is just like too sharp. So I'll do that. You can see it sags a little. That's cool. It's a little bit more natural. Got this bubble gut up in the front, and that's fine. You just bubble gut for a while. All right. So now what's next? I want to add a zipper to my gusset. So if I want to add the zipper to my gusset, I got to figure out how long I want to make the zipper, and I got to cut this panel. So I'm going to bring it to the bottom of this zipper, and I'm going to cut it right there. Just so to figure that out, I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to select, and you can see by my cursor, it's 146.1. That's cool. Okay. So I'm gonna get my edit pattern Z, and I'm gonna right click, offset as internal, 146.1. Now I've got this line. Why is that not showing up? That is so weird. Huh. It shows up on that side. No, on this side. It's broken. Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna right click on it and I'm gonna cut and sew. Oh, I don't even know what that means. Okay. I mean, I do, but I don't know why that would happen. Okay, come on, guys. Nope. Okay. What's going on? All right, I'm gonna select this line, see if I can cut and sew that bad mamma jamma. Okay, I'm gonna right click. I'm gonna extend and trim to the pattern outline. It is extended. I'm gonna cut and sew. Failed to cut. Internal line must intersect the pattern outline. It is, you turds. Okay, I'm gonna delete that. I'm gonna try this again. Apparently closed just perfect. Okay. I'm freaking out. Okay, let's try this. Let's right click up here. 146.1. I'm going to perpendicular to the X. And then I'm gonna cut and sew. Booyah! Okay. Clo can't slow me down. I'm a freaking ninja. Okay. Now this is my zipper panel on the top. You can see there. That's what I wanted. That's what I was looking for. And I want my zipper dead center. So I'm just gonna grab this, insert, point, spline, add point, split line. I don't know why I say spline. What are we in CAD? No. Split by length, we're going to type in 18 here. We're going to go center. Centers it. Another thing, Chloe, if you're watching, I really think you should allow us to add perpendicular lines to 2 dots at once, because when I select those, I can't do it. I have to do it individually. It's just, workflow. It'd be cool. So I'm going to add the perpendicular lines along the y-axis. I'm going to select these, and I'm going to cut and sew them. All right. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to drop my zipper. Shoot. And then don't forget, let's select all these bad mamma jammas. Ooh, better zoom in. Do I need to select them all? I don't remember. Sometimes the symmetric thing just carries over the settings. Sometimes it doesn't. So I'm gonna put them all at 10, and then I'm gonna put my zippers at 5. Now again, these ones you don't really need to put at 10, but it's a smaller bag, so I figure why not. Let's just go for glory. All right, there we go. Got my zippers simulated. Now the zippers look like turds. They're just basic. So I'm going to show you how to add a graphic, which is this tool up here. So I'm going to click on that. Oh, where am I? Let me actually see some. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go to material images. Okay, cool. Okay, you could do expose. I got an expose zipper. I got the reverse coil. I'm gonna do this right here, reverse coil. And I'm gonna set it 20 millimeters. I don't know why I do it at 20. You know what? Cancel that. I'm gonna do it at 18. Why am I working so hard? Here's a graphic. 18. Okay. Don't dead center. Get rid of that one. Okay. I mean, I generally did it because it's like, that seems a little small to me, Just a little sad, but it's fine. Then I'm going to right click on this tile along the x-axis. And now I've got zipper tape. And then I'm gonna right click, add as graphic. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do 18. Draw. Let me make sure I don't get it to the center. Right click, tile. Another thing, Chloe, if I'm doing symmetric and adding a graphic, it would be dope if I could just, just for zippers. I'm sure that there are other times people don't want it to go across, but like for me, that'd be dope. As graphic, 18. Tile x-axis. Uno más. Add as graphic. 18. Holy mackerel. My brain's exploding in redundancies. But I love it. I'm not mad. I'm just here living the dream. Tile x-axis. There it is. Sorry about clicking. I'm sure it's really annoying in your headphones. All right, cool. Cool. Now I can select all these. I can hide them, Shift Q, or you can like right click and hide them. Look at that. I got a sick liner. I should just make it liner on the outside. No front fade. Just kidding. That'd be seriously weird. And yeah, simulation doesn't change anything there. So there we go. We got a decent looking pack going right now. I do feel like this sew line is really wonky. Let me see. I'm gonna select all those. There, maybe that's it. Pop it up to 100. Nope, that didn't do anything. Anyways, semantics. Those things don't matter. All right, patterns coming together. Next thing I'm gonna work on is the back. Sorry, I'm probably making you guys have seizures by spazzing out here. So this is a back panel. I am going to layer clone over, drop it down. The first thing I'm going to do is right click, remove linked editing. I don't want that linked editing. I just wanted it to do the work of sewing, actually, in which I'm deleting anyway. So I guess that was a complete waste of time. I could just copy and paste. Just so you guys know, you can just copy and paste. Don't listen to me. All right, that's sewn together. I want it turned. All right. I'm gonna get that G tool, internal polygon line. I'm just gonna drop it down. Let's give it an angle. Let's just draw it off center a little bit. All right, so we got our angle, we got our line. We're just gonna cut that. That's going in the garbage. See ya. Right click, symmetric pattern with sewing. Boom. Okay, I need to check my sew lines real quick. That's sewn together. This is sewn to that. That's great. That's sewn to that. This is sewn to nothing. Okay, let's sew these together. All right, we're on track. Shoot. There it is. Okay. Little simulation, get that in place. Now you can see I've got this little back piece just hanging out there. That's going to be our spacer mesh. So that's the wrong fabric. Let's go back here. Let's go to materials. Let's find the spacer mesh. Okay, I'm just going to double click on that. It's going to pop it over. I'm going to apply the spacer mesh. Look at that. All right, now we've got spacer mesh. If I add a little thickness here, it's even thicker like spacer mesh. It's beautiful. Okay, take that away. I'm having too much fun here. Okay, now I want some binding on the edges here. And to be honest with you, the Clo3D binding tool is, in my opinion, an absolute garbage. Maybe it's just meant for like apparel. If they could just work with us a little bit, it just doesn't work. And if somebody figures it out and I'm a complete dingus, just leave in the comments, let me know. But if you're wrong, I will harass you. So let's right click, layer clone over. Boom. Now I am going to, now these are linked still. So I'm going to offset an internal line. Let's say I want 10 millimeter. Ooh, wrong direction. Undo. Internal, not reverse direction. Okay. Now I want to unlink them. So I wanted this internal line. I wanted this line here on both of the pattern pieces. So I'm going to remove the linked editing and I'm going to select this one and I'm going to cut and I'm going to delete that. We'll call that garbage. And this is going to be my makeshift binding. I'm just going to make it look like, well, let's do X-Pack, EcoPack, shit, X-Pack. Just so you can see what's going on here. I'm going to sew this internal line to the internal line because the outsides are already sewn together. When you sew something to an internal line, it automatically gets this turned function. So there. Now I've got my binding piece right there. And I am not binding an EcoPack, I promise you that. But symmetric with sewing. This is just gonna be gross grain. I have a gross grain somewhere, but it's not in here. So I'm just gonna apply the zipper. It's, it looks fun. Whoa, what just happened? What just happened, you crazy rugrat? Oh, I know what happened. This got moved over here. Gosh, that 3D window, man. It's a trip. Oh, no, don't do that. Sometimes I just inadvertently hit the space button at the wrong time and then my whole computer just freaks out because simulation takes some power. And you don't want that to happen when you're in the middle of something really important and brain numbing, and then you hit the space bar and then it breaks your computer and then your brain gets even more broken. It's really, really sucky. Okay, here it is. So we've got that back panel. You can go in and add that thickness, make it look kind of real. Not really, but like kind of. Excuse my throatiness. The next thing we're going to add is the waist belt. So I'm going to get the rectangle tool and I'm going to make this, actually, let me check this height here. That's 100. Okay. I'm going to make it 125 by 100 and drop it right there. And I'm going to sew it to that edge. So I'm just going to sew, and I'm actually going to turn this on so I can see where to line this puppy up. All right. Hit my 2, All right, I need this up here, hit my 4. I need it to go to the back of the bag. Perfect. Okay, and it's definitely facing the wrong, because it, you know, and if I just like rotated it now, it would rotate based off of where this little blue selection is here. But I want it to like rotate off of that, just so I don't have to fudge with things much anymore. Also, completely wrong fabric. We're just gonna go with the Eco Pack for now, and then you'll see that that's actually the wrong direction. So we'll flip normal. Hopefully I'm not working too fast. You guys can just rewind and rewatch the other boring stuff later. This is the good. We're getting into the heat now, where I don't have to do that. And what I did, I want to show you guys this like double-sided fabric thing, which is not realistic, but it's just fun to do when you're just messing around. I've got this Eco Pack with padding, and just check this. It's already got on the back side the spacer mesh, and on the front side the Eco Pack. And if I make this thick, you'll see that stuff. So basically I just give it the width of like it has padding and spacer mesh already, but it's got that Eco Pack on the front. This just makes, like, if you're not going for full patterns, it makes it a little bit more fun. Also, you don't really need this pattern piece twice, because you just cut it out with the different materials. Let's not get crazy on our cutting pattern pieces. Okay, so now this length, I want it different. So I want it to end at 38 millimeters, or 1.5 inches. But I want like a 10 millimeter radius to smooth it just right into that corner. So it's at 58. Let's see if that works. I'm gonna right click with my add, split by length. Let's throw in 58 and let's pop it in the center. Oh, I didn't need to do that, but that's cool. You guys saw that again. I'm just gonna click on it. I'm gonna change the length, and I'm gonna go to 58, and see, you can do start, you can do end, which actually I think this is how I have the pattern, but no, I have it in the center. Okay, so I'm just gonna go center. Oh, what just happened? That is sewn. Oh, that's sewn to that. I see. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna. This sometimes when you're managing your pieces, you get lost in it all. Just too much. Okay, I'm gonna change this side to 58 to the center. There it is. Okay, and then I'm gonna get my fancy little smooth curve point. I'm gonna do 10 and 10. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do like 25 and 10. Sick. 10, 25, okay. And then you can see it's already got that clipping. So I got the clipping. So I'm just gonna bump this down to 10. Let's see what that does. You know, and on this piece, all right, I'm gonna show you how to render. So I'm just gonna pop this down to 5 so I don't have to worry about it later. It's not too crazy. All right, super smooth. So let me just throw that on there real quick. All right, that is sewn together. Now what I'm gonna do, I should probably just make this super basic. Get back to the root so I don't decimate my Mac. I'm gonna symmetric pattern sew this bad mamma jamma. Let's watch where it goes in the 3D window. We're a little inverted, upside down, sideways over here in the 2D. Yep, there it is. Whew, that's just crazy. Why do you go over there? I'm just gonna keep dragging. Hopefully it goes, yep, all right. And it's gonna stitch to the opposite side. There it is. Whoo, hot dog. We are cooking with fire. All right, so we're not done yet. We still got more rodeo. So I'm gonna show you how to attach a little piece of hardware here. And we're gonna dive into the meat a little bit later. But let's go into the hardware. Let's pull in a YKK zipper right. So I'm just going to pull this in here. Oh, what? No. Add to workspace. Okay. So you can add it or you can open it. You don't want to open it. You'll lose everything you just did here. Object type avatar is like that human being that you saw where like fabric goes around it. We want it as a trim where basically we're going to glue this to the bag. Mine I have to bring in at 100,000%. If you have a normal OBJ that's to scale, just do 100%. I make things in Shaper in some reason, like Shaper 3D iPad app, and when I export them to OBJ, for some reason they come in as little babies. So I have to multiply them by 1,000. Yeah, 1,000. Okay. So here we go. I got this I clicked the glue bottle. If I went too fast there, you might have to, oh, there it is. There's the glue bottle. So you just click it and you can just stick it anywhere. It's like a sticker. Anyways, I'm going to put it here. I'm going to rotate it around. I'm going to position it. I'm going to check all the sick angles. Drop it back a little. Let's drop it back a little. I'm just going to pop it. Pop, lock, and drop it. Right there. There it is. Skirt. All right. Now I've got it all select, or I'm gonna get it all selected. Basically, it comes in different bodies. You can see it's all white. This little internal piece is a body. This outer ring is a body. That's a body. I don't know if I just exported it like a dingus or what, but anyways, I tried to fix that, couldn't. Don't judge me. I'm gonna go to the property editor. I'm gonna change the color let's just go straight black. So it really pops. Now I've got that. Excuse me, my goodness, Flemmy McFlemerson. And then I'm gonna come and I'm gonna drop some. Whoa, what just happened? There it is. Sometimes it goes a little crazy. It's like when you get really close. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Reset. Find my piece. Okay. Let's just stay. This is a safe distance. I'm going to add this one to the workspace as a trim at 100 bajillion %. Wow, that's really taking a while. I didn't say open, did I? Watch me just lose everything. Click my glue bottle. Okay, cool. I'm just going to pop it right there in the center. It's just a little crooked. Other than that, it's looking pretty dialed. Let me see if I can just get away with changing it all to black in one go. No, of course not. Ah, what a joke. Okay, black. That is pretty cool though, where you have the different bodies that you can change. Oh my gosh, what is happening? Because if you have one piece of hardware that is like has color changes, then you can just, do. Oh my gosh, what is happening? Spazzy. Okay, I'm gonna select this. I'm gonna copy and I'm gonna paste it. I'm just gonna bring it over here. Reverse. I'm gonna put it there. Let's see. I'm afraid. I'm very, very afraid. Actually, this one actually looks a little bit better. Okay. Check is a little crooked. Really, this small amount of detail is not important for anybody. But, why half but something? Okay, are we going to get perfect here? Yeah, why not? I'm a perfectionist. Welcome to my world, people. Okay, we've got our zippers. Now, as far as adding cord or like drawstring, you can do that. I'm not going to go into it here. It's kind of a pain in the tush, but it is possible. Now I'm going to show you how to add this Bad Mamma Jamma to a body. So I'm just going to select it all. I'm going to move it up. I'm going to activate this sad avatar. I'm going to activate them. What's up, dude? His name's Thomas. Okay, Thomas, show us what you've got. I'm going to actually hide all that right now, because what I want to do is show you a little tricky trick. Here you've got, oh my goodness, this measure. Okay, as you can see, I built these lines. I didn't realize that it built these lines in for me. That's amazing. I did these in another project. So basically what you do is you select this tool, surface circumference measure avatar. And I'm gonna select this dead center point here. And this is just for reference. I'm just kind of showing you. And I'm gonna select its matching point kind of back here. And then I'm gonna, boom, I'm gonna get a piece of tape here. You know what? This is a wild one. I'm gonna get rid of that. So you can see it's 923.5. These ones are a little bit narrower. I'm gonna delete this one, but I just want to show you how to do it. Then you just got to figure out, where's Thomas going to wear his hip pouch. The world may never know. So I'm gonna activate. I'm gonna show this again. I'm gonna get out of this tool because it makes my bag all weird. But what I'm going to do is actually add a perpendicular line against the y-axis, so it goes across, and segment distance, that's a 38, so yeah, I want that at 19, dead center. There. Now I've got this line here, and I'll show you what's up in a minute, but it's going to take a second. Okay, so I've got my line there. It's going to show on both sides of this Baghdadi there, and I've got one over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select this attach to measure tool, and I'm going to select that line. And let's say he's going to wear his pack on this middle line. I'm going to select this line, and I'm going to select that middle line. And I'm going to get this a little bit better positioned. Let me get out of that tool. Now he's going to be wearing it high up like a dad. Yep. Now let's see what happens if it freaks out. I'm going to simulate, and boom. So what happens is it attaches that line to the line, and it's not like an exact, right? So it's just going to be connected to this line anywhere that it fits. So now we've got Mac Daddy Thomas with this bag aligned exactly where we want it to be worn. So you'll see, like, with the pressure, there's a little bit of like bunching down there, so that seems natural. It's kind of ugly, but it just is what it is. We're not going to sculpt this bag. This is a super basic bag. It's not meant to fit really well. It's just meant to like carry things. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the webbing around old Tommy's waist. So I'm going to right click here, and I'm going to offset what will be the webbing, or I'm going to, through the perpendicular line. So this gap here, that's 38 millimeters, so that's 1.5 inches. And this is symmetric, so it's happening on both sides. I'm gonna layer clone over. I'm gonna bring that over. I'm going to remove the linked editing. I'm gonna get rid of that middle line. Actually, I'm gonna leave that middle line. I'm gonna select those outer lines, and I'm gonna cut them, and I'm gonna delete those. So now I've got this webbing piece. And let me jump into my materials. I'm going to bring over my webbing. is, and I'm gonna make that webbing. So now I've got this sick webbing. The grain's going the wrong direction. Why is it doing that? I must have saved it wrong. Let me fix this. We just go into transformation. We'll go to texture. Is that the wrong direction? Yeah, that looks like the wrong direction. Let's do 0. See what happens. That looks a little bit better, I think. I don't know, dudes. Am I going crazy? Anyways, it is late. All right. So now this is going to be sewn dead center in the middle. We don't want that, so I'm just going to delete that sewn line. But it is sewn here on the inside and here on the outside. And those sew lines I absolutely do want. And what I could even do is add a perpendicular line. And this is a cool thing. I didn't really show this. You can add a perpendicular line not on a dot, right? So I'll just pop it off the x-axis. So it'll tell you distance from the segment edge. My assumption is this just automatically puts you in the center. 62.5, let's try this. Yeah, 62.5, 125, yeah. So let's just go to the other side. Let's go X. Yeah, it pops you right in the dead center. So you don't even have to add a dot. How sick is that? We want it 38, and I want, whoops, not extend. Go back to 38, and I'm gonna reverse it. You could add it to both, but we don't need that in this circumstance. So I'm gonna add another perpendicular line along the X. That should just put it there. Okay, and then I'm gonna segment so this guy and this guy. And now we've got this sweet little wannabe daisy chain. And what I'm going to do here is just symmetric sew, bring it over. I'm going to right click that and I'm going to superimpose over. That should bring it, yep, brings it over. Let's just go ahead and get that locked in real quick. Yep, that's working. Cool. Now the next thing is we need to bring it around the waist. So let's say this is going about halfway around his body already. So if I just go into edit measure, I see this is 858. So what 850 divided by 2 is 425. Is that right? 425. Yep. And then divide that by 2, you got 212.5 maybe. So I'm just going to come here and I'm going to offset pattern outline to, let's just call it 200 for now. I'm just going to extend it out. It's going to extend out both webbing pieces. And it's all up on his bods. We need to delete this sew line because we don't want that sewn together. Now we want this sewn to this side. So now that's sewn together. And then I'm going to hit the space bar and see if this pops out. And it does. And kapow! Look at that. We got ourselves a waist belt. That bag's really getting smashed up on his bod. This is a one thing, Chloe, that I've not been able to figure out that I would really like to is like how do you get like EVA panels and stuff that really show rigidity, like legit EVA structure. That'd be cool. All right, so now we've got that, and I'm gonna add a buckle to the back. Let's go Woojin Pico buckle, 100 bajillion% as a trim. And I mostly just do trim because it makes it look like if you wanted the 100% look, then you do an avatar and you could like feed webbing through the hardware. But that's just like, it's such a pain in the tush. I love them saying pain in the tush. Like that's a thing I normally say. It's just because I'm on YouTube. Flip it around, bring it up. This looks like a 25 millimeter. So you can actually scale this. So I'm gonna scale the height to be more 38. Yeah. Where are we at on the booty? Okay, let's bring it. Why am I such a perfectionist? It's so weird. And I'm just gonna make it look a little bit thinner because why not? It's not real, but it looks cool. All right, now I'm just gonna make this black, super black. There it is. Awesome. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna just simulate this. I'm gonna pull this bag out and see if we can't get a little bit better of a looking fit, so it's not all smashy smashed. All right, I'm gonna go into these sew lines. Let's just problem solve here. Let's do the blue. Let's do the gray. Let's do that guy. Okay, let's go 100. Let's go 100 strength on those bad man pajamas. Same on the back. Which one is that? Yeah, pink. Let's do pink. Yeah, 100. Let's see what kind of situation that gets us. Is that any better? A little saggy bottoms. That's all right. That's not a big deal. It's alright. Okay. Just gonna fit. And you could sit here and you can play around for hours dialing that in. I'm not gonna. But I mean, that's really not bad. All right, so now we've got this on his bod. The next thing I'm gonna do is show you how to do some top stitches. So default top stitch, this is just some basic that I think it's like the basic fabric. Just don't use it. 16th inch offset, standard, that's fine. We'll keep that stitch count. We only want one stitch. We don't want anything crazy. I always move down to like SP10, SPI 10. And then we're going to do thread thickness. I'll bump that up to like 100. Let's do 120 just for this. Text 120. Obviously, you're not going to use that on this style bag, but it does give you that nice visual. And then we're just going to make this, we're going to make it, let's go straight jet black. That's not actually jet black, but anyways, it's black. I'm going to select my tool here, and you'll see it come to life. Whoa, what happened? Oh, don't do that. What's happening? Okay, there we go. It's freaking me out, man. I don't know what's going on. Sometimes Chloe does this to me where I don't know what's happening. Okay, it's working. So we got our top stitches going in. All right. That's about all the places I'd put a top stitch. And then I would definitely add a bar tack, like a couple bar tacks down here. So I'll show you how to do that real quick. Let's we'll just add another, and we'll do a 0-inch offset. We don't want any. Also, you can customize this in millimeters if you wanted to. We're gonna click bar tack. We're just gonna leave it at the standard, and I'm just gonna make it. Actually, I'm gonna leave it white right now, just so I can show you what this looks like when you go to bar tack. All right, so I'm gonna bar tack and bar tack. Oh, I need to add a line here. Since I extended the pattern piece, I lost that line, so I'll add the line. So boom. I mean, you wouldn't bar tack there on the end, so we could even like copy this one. Let's get a little nerdy. And we're just gonna change this to, let's move it to 1/8 of an inch offset. And then we're gonna do the top stitch select tool. and I'm gonna, oh, I just deleted it. No. I'm gonna select that and I'm gonna install that one. Still doesn't look great. So we're just gonna go to this top stitch and we're gonna bring it in to a 1/4 inch internal. There we go. That looks legit. Like that looks like a place I'd put a bar tack. And the white is ugly, so let's just make it black. Black it up. All right, we go to black bar tacks. All right, sick with it. Okay, ooh, that got a little crooked, didn't it? Let's go fix that because we're all perfectionists. Much better, Thomas. You were looking like a mess. All right. This is the system setup I have. 2.6 hertz, i7, quad core, 16 gigs of RAM, Radeon Pro 460. Like this is a 2016 MacBook Pro. So yeah, depending on your machine, like you might be fine. I have a lot of trouble when it gets really, really complex. Okay, so we're gonna work on next. Oh, you know what I want to put in here? I want to put in a little bag buff patch that I made earlier because I want to see how it looks. I'm going to go into labels, add to workspace. Yeah, sure. Just add it in. Let's see what this looks like. No, I don't want anything. Okay, so I made this label earlier. Oh, dang, that's huge. Oh, well, that looks cool. Does it look cool? No, it looks kind of like a turd. Like a big turd. Whatever, it's fine. Okay, I'm just gonna, that's the next thing I'll do. I'm gonna sew all these together. I'm gonna show you how to combine these points. Gosh, I hit the wrong button so many times. Okay, so to now combine all these pieces in which you had separated, slow it down there, big cheese. Let's bring this back to core editing. Okay, I'm gonna select the sew line. I'm gonna right click and I'm gonna click merge. And that just brings the piece together. Now this center line here actually maintains the symmetric editing. What's going on? Why aren't you merging? Merge, you silly. Okay. Sometimes it doesn't work. And I'll figure it out in a minute, but right now I'm just going to get through the rest of these. A little tedious task. Sometimes when I do this, it actually really jacks up my my sewing, but that's only when it's like crazy sewing. Okay, let me delete this. Re-sew it together. Merge it. Yep, there it goes. Something was wrong with that stitch. Don't know what it was. Couldn't tell you. Sorry, folks. All right. So now I've got my pattern outline. And let's check out the dimensions. Can we check out the dimensions of this bad mamma jamma? 338.2 by, oh no, dang, that's not its dimensions, that's its total length. I think, okay, this is something we'll learn together. I think you can clone as an internal shape. There it is. Okay. Actually, before, I want to get rid of that symmetric sewing. So I'm going to right click, clone as internal shape, and I want it to be pretty dead center. Who's counting? Just me. Okay. Now I'm going to do my segment sewing. I'm just going to select around there. and select around there. It is turned. I want to pop it on there. All right. Ooh, getting crazy. Oh, this also happened. My zippers all came off of. That kind of looks like trash, guys. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm gonna have to redo it. See ya. When you merge those pieces, you can see the zippers actually came off. So I'm just gonna reposition these real quick onto the zipper tape. Cool. And I won't perfect those. This is already a long video. All right. So there we've got the fanny pack. Yeah, so that's really how you do a bag in Clo3D. I don't really know what else to do. Oh, I was going to show you guys the colorway. Let's check out this colorway tool. This is so dope. Okay. So it breaks down all your pieces here. And we'll just call this yellow AF. And then we'll add another one. And we'll just call this one, what color should we make it? Let's just make it olive AF. AF gets added to everything. Okay, so I can select multiple. You just hold shift and it'll change multiple colors at once. You go to this color and we'll just pick a color that we want it to be. That's actually kind of a nice green. So let's go there. We'll keep that all. Everything else I think we just want to keep the same. Yeah. Let's go crazy with the stitches. Let's do white stitching. No, let's not do that. That looks like trash. Okay. So anyways, then you can make another colorway and we'll just call it like blue AF because AF to everything. And then we'll that's nasty. Yeah, that one's cool. Yeah. Ooh, yeah, there we go. Okay, and then we'll just make this one a little crazy, like webbing. Let's make this like, I don't know, something fun. Let's just go for a gray. That's not fun at all, but you know, gray is gray. No, let's not go for gray. What color we should do? Let's do yellow. Yellow? This is so dope though. Like you just get to go through and like run through colors and be like, this looks like trash. I wonder what it looks like with the old gold. Sorry. And then let's go to the stitching. Make that old gold. I mean, that looks like trash, but it's fine. It's fine trash. You know what I'm saying? It looks cool up front or up close. Okay. So we got our nice trash here. Ooh, I really want those bar tacks to pop though. Let's keep those black. Let's go a darker blue. Stick with me, guys. Stick with me. I'm just kidding. You can leave if you want. Get out of here. All right. I don't even know if that color looks good. I'm so far away. But anyways, you get the idea. You can run through here. You can change your hardware colors. They're just called mesh, but I think you can change the name so you can recognize what's what. And then you go up here and you update. And now I've got all these colorways. So if you're working at the factory, you can break down. They have like the bill of materials. So there's all sorts of stuff. Some interesting tools to like for product development that you can get into. But most of you guys are probably here just because you want to make cool stuff. That saggy bottom's really driving me nuts, but you know, I'm not in the mood to fix it. Not even a little bit. Cool. So there it is. And then one thing that you can do is let's go ahead and hide this avatar. Ooh, that looks cool. Beefing it up, thicken it up a little. And then we'll go into the render window. And I'm just going to hit this refresh button. Close that side. Dang, there it is. There's that render. So you can go in here, move it around, see what it's going to render like. You can go into settings here in this visual settings and say you want it to be like landscape. And this is really when you're going to get into the heat of like perfecting every detail, making sure all those bumps are gone. Like I'm sure the YouTube thumbnail you guys saw is perfect, because after I'm done recording this, I'm going to go perfect it and then get a solid render of it. And then that's what I'll upload. But yeah, there it is. All right, y'all. I hope you enjoyed the videos. If you have questions or comments, leave a comment below. Would love to answer them. Would love to learn with you guys. I am not a pro at this. I've been at it for like 3 months and I'm just messing my way around. So let's hang. Let's chat. Adios. All right, I'm back. I could not let this go. This form bunching up was driving me nuts. So I'm going to do something a little crazy here. I'm going to connect these waist belts. Yep, I'm going to connect them directly through the center here. So on here, I'm going to get rid of the symmetrical sewing line. I'm going to add a perpendicular to the y-axis on both of these pieces, on the top and the bottom. My computer really does not like recording and doing Clo at the same time. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer clone over, which actually I didn't really need to layer clone over all. And I'm going to just select those lines and cut here. Delete those. And then I'm going to delete, actually I didn't need to layer clone at all because now I have to delete those, but I'm going to free sew from here to here, and from here to here. Ooh, zooming in. Okay, so I'm actually going to, what's that being sewn to? That's a gusset. That one. So I'm going to delete that one. And then I'm going to delete that one. And then we're going to merge these pieces here. Ciao. All right, so this layer is going to go under that layer. And then these are going to go up here. And I'm going to drop those down, just keep everything nice and organized. I'm going to grab all of my front face panels. I'm going to pull it forward. I'm also going to grab the hip belt and pull it forward, which means I'm going to have to pull this and move it out. I just want to make sure here you can see there's some overlapping there, and I don't want that webbing ending up on the bottom. So that's how it's going to go together. And I'm hoping this helps get rid of that junk. There we go. Wow.
That looks terrible, but that's okay. At least we know we're on the right track. So I'm going to flip normal on that guy. I'm going to turn on, oh, it's already on. I just can't see. I'm going to select this piece. Yeah, it should be solid. Oh, it flipped to normal. It flipped normal. Oh, I see what's going on here. Wow, what a strange situation. I'm gonna have to back out quite a bit here. Wow, that's really frustrating. All right, I'm just gonna back out to where I sewed these panels together. Okay, so what I'm gonna do just to make sure everything is dialed is I'm gonna pull this out first. I don't even know what these internal lines are. Those black lines? No clue. Don't care. That piece actually needed to go with that move. So I'm going to move that back, and then I'm going to select that as well. Now I'm going to move it out. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to flip normal this guy so it's turned the right way. Waiting. I really want a new computer. Okay, there we go. Now you can see that those sew lines are twisted. That's where we're getting jacked up. So I can actually select these both and hit Command B, and it'll switch the direction. You can see the direction here is now dialed. So let's just go ahead and simulate it from here. Yeah, let's just simulate it from here. See what happens. I'm just going to draw it all together. And I'm just going to kind of manipulate those a little bit. The bottom is totally fine now. The top is still junky a little bit. And I think maybe the sew line here to the back panel. Oop, not that one. Let's go with this one and this one. That's at 90. That's actually pretty good. But let's see what happens when we go to 110. No, that made it worse. Let's not do that. I'm just going to double check all my sew lines. Those are 100. Those are 100. Just trying to show you guys how I might problem solve this. Select that. Let's put it at 90. Nope, that made it ugly. All right, we'll go to 110 there. All right, I don't think we're going to get this one perfect, but at least you guys understand the concept here. Round that out a little bit. Not a huge fan. Let's select all these sew lines. What is going on? Oh, just there we go. Get rid of that selection, that selection, that selection, that selection. We don't want any of that. And I don't want those. And I don't want those, and I don't want those. Okay. Do 110 degrees, see what happens there. All right, that's feeling all right. Now it's the back. Let's see how much we have to deselect here. D90. Oh, that might help. That helps a little. Just gonna give this a bit of a yank. All right, either way, that is much, much cooler. All right, so the next thing I want to do is just go in here, split by length. We'll do 38 in the center. Perpendicular line, y-axis. Perpendicular line, y-axis. Duplicate this or clone over. Disconnect them. Remove the linked editing. Split this, cut this. Delete this. Turn this into webbing. Now I'm going to pay attention to these lines here. So when I'm at the bottom here, that's actually the top of the webbing. Overlap sewing line. Oh, where's that sewn to? Oh, that's sewn to there. We're going to unsew those. Top to bottom, top to bottom. Top to bottom, top to bottom. It's getting all sorts of crazy. Everything's going all sorts of different directions. Let's see how that works out. All right. Now what I can do is I can merge here. Merge here. Now at least I have webbing going through the full middle and it looks way better. So then I'll merge here. Then I'll merge here. And then I'm just going to clean up this design a little bit. Smooth this curve. Let's take a look. 100 by 100. Like 50 by 100. Sure, 50 by 100 looks good. All right, click. 100 by 50. 50 by 100. 100 by 50. Okay, now it's like, it's a little bit better of a shape there. Now your bag can slide around. What you'd probably do in this case is put Velcro here so it locks in, and or you would just stitch this onto this back panel. There's 1,000 ways to skin a cat, but those would probably be my first approaches for sure. What I really want is a zipper just flatten, just calm down just a little bit. And I need it to pop up right there. Let me check out these settings here. I think I solidified those. We need to unsolidify them. There we go. There, now it's dropping in. Oh, there it is. All right. Now we're cooking with fire, people. Okay, and I really don't like this top angle here in this bottom. So I go to this front panel. Not that one. I want the blue. Probably go up to 135, but we drop that to 50. Sometimes you just gotta soften things up a little bit. Just soften it up. See that top crease is a little much, bit aggressive. So we go here and we'll drop that to 50. Soften her up. Yep. I think that mostly does the trick. All right. Of course, Perfectionist Steve. I'll probably step into all of these little sew lines. Purple? Light. Okay. 50. 135. Soften it up. All right, now I feel a little bit better about rendering this guy out. Cool. And that's it. A little problem solving. That's the nice thing about clothes. You can jump in, you can see, man, that's really going to look like trash on the body, and you can figure out an alternative way to do it. That's the beautiful thing about the program. Speed, without having to cut and sew and cut and sew and cut and sew and test. And the program's not perfect, of course, but it's pretty damn good in my experience. Not that I have. Okay, yeah, I have a lot. So, hope you guys like the tutorial. Glad I jumped in here and cleaned this up a little bit. That's all I got for you.